Welcome to my humble abode, your go-to channel for skincare. I'm not a professional and I don't claim to be one. I am just a girl who is crazy over skincare. So in today's video, we are going to discuss drugstore sunscreens that are under 150 Rand with excellent formulations. But before we start, I have been getting so much compliments and so many questions on my faux locks. These were done at a salon called Urban Sass in Santon. They are opposite the Mark. And if you're interested in making a booking with them, I have a discount code in the description box below. When you pay, you just give them the code and you will get 15% off your bill. So we're going to discuss 3 sunscreens today. I'm going to start with the cheapest and then I'll move on to the more expensive sunscreens. We're going to look at them from a formulation point of view and I will do a try on for you as well. First off, we have the Narco Wetu sunscreen. You can get the sunscreen directly from Narco Wetu or you can get it on Takealot. If you get it directly from Narco Wetu, it is 90 Rand. And it comes with 75 ml in the tub. So the sunscreen agents that we're seeing in the Narco Wetu sunscreen is firstly octocrylene. This is a chemical sunscreen filter that gives you UVB protection. It is incredibly photostable, which means that it does not degrade quickly when exposed to light. If a sunscreen degrades really quickly, then it loses its effectiveness really quick on your skin. Even though it is a very stable sunscreen, it is not a strong enough filter on its own. The next sunscreen agent that they have is homosalate. This sunscreen filter is not really going to give you any strong or significant protection. However, it is included in the formula because it is a liquid and it helps to dissolve other hard to solubilize sunscreen powders. Then there's octinoxate in here. And octinoxate is going to give you UVB protection. However, it is not very photostable, but the combination of the octinoxate with the octocrylene works really well to give you good UVB protection. Then there is avobenzone. This is a very common, globally known UVA filter. It is known to give good protection across the whole UVA range. However, it is not very photostable. And this is where it relies on the octocrylene to help in the photostability of the avobenzone. While I'm here explaining these sunscreen filters to you, it is so important to note that, as you can hear, I'm saying that these are not photostable, and reliance comes on other much more stable sunscreen filters in the formulation. This is the classic reason as to why you have to be reapplying your sunscreen, as reapplication just reinforces that protection, which most likely is degrading really quickly when exposed to sunlight. On the other hand, just to give you some sunscreen 101, any chemical filter, no matter how strong or how photostable, is only active on the skin for a maximum of 2 hours, which means that at any point after you put it on your skin, 2 hours later, your sunscreen is probably no longer protecting you, and hence reapplication. I'm not going to discuss the other ingredients in here. They're mostly emulsifiers, emollients, moisturizers, humectants, preservatives, and there's nothing that comes onto my radar in order to warn you against it. So I just really wanted to zoom in onto the sunscreen filter so that you can understand it and that you can be knowledgeable in knowing that when you're putting this on, you are getting good UVB protection as well as UVA protection. FYI, I don't think that I mentioned this, but this one gives you SPF 30 protection. If you want to know whether you should be using SPF 30 or SPF 50, I have a video that I've uploaded and I will link that in the description box below to allow you to make the decision of whether an SPF 30 or an SPF 50 suits you better. Okay, so let's do a quick try on so we can move on to the next sunscreen. I don't use foundation and all I literally just do my eye makeup for the channel. So as you can see, this spreads really nicely. It goes really well into the skin. It is so lightweight. It does leave a bit of a shine, as you can see, but after like an hour it really dries into the skin and it works really well. My dry skin loves this. My husband has oily, acne prone skin and he uses it all the time and he really likes this one too. It's not greasy and it is not uncomfortable. The next sunscreen that we're going to look at is the Click Sun Protect SPF 50 Face and Neck Cream. This is a sunscreen that you guys have been asking me to review for the longest time, so here it is. This goes for 110 Rand and you will get 50 moles in this tub. The sunscreen agents in this is octocrylene. This will give you UVB protection. Octocrylene is a very photo-stable sunscreen. However, it is not a strong filter on its own. Then there's octinoxate. Octinoxate will give you UVB protection. However, it is not very photo-stable. But the combination of octocrylene and octinoxate works really well in giving you that UVB protection. The next sunscreen filter is avobenzone. Avobenzone is known globally to give you really good UVA protection as it covers the full spectrum of UVA. The problem with avobenzone is that it is not very photostable, meaning that it will degrade quickly when exposed to light, which means that your protection loses its effectiveness really quick. The next filter we're seeing is Juvenile A+. This is a new generation chemical sunscreen. It gives you very high UVA protection and it is incredibly photostable. So now we're comfortable with the fact that we're getting really good UVA protection because the avobenzone will rely on some photostability from the octocrylene as well as the Juvenile A+. Then there's Juvenile T150. This is a new generational sunscreen filter. It is a chemical filter that gives you a very high UVB protection. So just from the sunscreen agents, I can tell you that you're getting really good protection in terms of UVA and UVB rays. Once again, in the rest of the ingredients, there are no red flags for me to pick on. All of these sunscreens are alcohol-free, fragrance-free, and essential oils-free that we're discussing today. Okay, let's try this one on. This one also spreads really easy. It's even more lightweight than the Narco Wetu sunscreen and it just absorbs so quickly into the skin. It also gives a shine at the beginning, but that dries down so quickly into your skin. Honestly, this sunscreen formulation is just so stunning. This sunscreen is just... And then lastly, another requested sunscreen review, the Demolin Daily Sunscreen SPF 50. So this retails for 125 Rand at Clicks and you get 60 moles in this tube. The sunscreen agents, firstly we're seeing avobenzone, which is going to give you really good UVA protection across the UVA range. However, it is not very photostable. Then we're seeing Taybabies M as the next sunscreen agent. This is a new generation sunscreen filter and it is a hybrid sunscreen, meaning that it is a mix between a chemical sunscreen and a mineral sunscreen. Taybabies M gives you broad spectrum coverage, which means you're getting UVA and UVB protection and it is very photostable. That with the avobenzone already lets me know that you're getting very good UVA protection in this formulation. Then we're seeing the octocrylene, which will give you UVB protection. It is not a very strong filter on its own, but it is incredibly photostable. To complement the octocrylene, there is octinoxate, which will give you UVB protection, but is not very photostable. So the combination of those two already let me know that you're getting a really good UVB protection. To make the formulation even better, they added Taybabies S. This is one of the best sunscreen agents. It gives you broad spectrum coverage. It is very photostable. It hardly even deteriorates in the presence of light. So in terms of formulation, this is definitely the strongest formulated sunscreen of all three. But let's try it on. Let's go back here. So this one takes far more time. You need to work it in. It doesn't absorb so easily into the skin like the other two did. Also, the Tinasorb M is leaving a slight bit of a white cast. If you are darker in complexion, you are probably going to have to spend a lot of time working this into the skin. And it may even just leave a bit of a grayish cast. After spending time and really working it into the skin, you can see that that white cast is all gone from my skin. The shine though, it is oily. On this it says non-greasy, but I can tell you that this is oily, my loves. As a dry baby, I love it because eventually this does dry into my skin. It takes some time, but it does dry into my skin and it just leaves this beautiful glow. The oiliness sort of like dissipates. But I got my husband to try this and he is acne oily prone and he said he will not put this again on his skin. It felt as if he was putting baby oil onto his skin. It was far too oily and he felt so uncomfortable. He really did not enjoy the practicalities of the sunscreen. So if you have dry skin and you are not very dark in complexion, I think that the sunscreen is perfect because it gives such beautiful protection, such strong protection. The formulation honestly is the strongest from all three of the sunscreens that we discussed, but this is not suitable for everybody, unfortunately. Okay, so let's just do a really quick comparison. The Demolin has the most strongest formula. However, if you have dry skin and not very dark skin, the Demolin should work so good for you. It should be your go-to. The one that I think is going to work for everybody's skin type is the Clicks Sensitive Protect. The formulation is stronger than the Narco Wetu sunscreen formulation and it absorbs so easily into the skin and obviously it leaves no cast. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the Narco Wetu sunscreen formulation. There's nothing to pick on. However, it is the weakest in terms of sunscreen agents when compared to these three. But it still does a good job at giving you protection and it works well with all skin types. So those are my thoughts on those three sunscreens. I hope that you can now make an informed decision of which affordable sunscreen is on your next to buy list. Please do not skip the sunscreen step. Once you find a sunscreen that you really love and works really well on your skin, reapplication is also just so easy and not a problem. Taybabies, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps with the algorithm and getting my videos seen. If you've gotten this far, then you might as well subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so that you can be alerted the next time I post. I hope that wherever you are well, you are making good choices, and I can't wait to see you again.